Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's PC Gaming News Recap. Today we'll be discussing how the open-world survival crafting game Nightingale aims to feel a little more MMO than other survival titles. We also got a fairly revealing teaser for Elder Scrolls Online's next major updates, along with numerous 2022 plans for titles like Albion Online, Fractured, and PSO2 New Genesis. On top of that, Bless Unleashed has got a new developer. Microsoft became a top publisher for PC games via Steam. Awesome Games done quick starts this week, and there's also a bunch of other stories we'll go into. On top of that, we got a few new game reveals and some newly playable things that I wanted to share with you all. Lots to dive into this week, and we'll get right into it right after a brief word from today's sponsor. Ridge Wallet is back sponsoring today's video. These are the compact, durable wallets designed to help streamline what you carry around. Like I've mentioned in some previous integrations, I have had mine for a while now, and I've enjoyed using it over the more traditional bulky wallet that I had previously. And yeah, it is quite a bit more compact than what I had before and takes up a lot less space in my pockets, which is nice. Some of the main features of the Ridge Wallet are that it can hold up to 12 cards while having room for cash. It's made of durable materials with a 45-day risk-free trial. If you don't like it, you can return it. And if you do like it and you keep it, it's got a lifetime warranty. Also, they're made with RFID blocking technology to help prevent against digital pickpocketers. I didn't even realize that was a thing. That sounds nice. And they're offered in over 30 different colors and styles for you to choose from. To learn more and check out the Ridge Wallet for yourself, there is a link in the description below. And if you use the code FORCE, you'll get 10% off your order. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this week's top stories. At last month's Game Awards, we first learned of Nightingale, the upcoming shared open-world survival crafting game with a gas lamp Victorian fantasy setting. The basic premise was said to revolve around players venturing through these portals, traveling to a myriad of diverse locations and increasingly dangerous worlds, while doing the survival things of gathering, crafting, building, and trying to survive. At its core, it sounded more or less like any other survival game, but with portals taking you to different biomes. Well, it turns out that they're aiming to give the world of Nightingale a much more connected, unified, and dare I say, MMO-like twist to it compared to other games in the genre. Speaking with Game Reactor, Inflection Games CEO Aaron Flynn said, "The idea with our shared world is that many survival crafting games end up often having isolated servers and isolated experiences from the rest of the community. We're investing a lot in our infrastructure and our abilities to offer players a completely united community." He went on to say that they have this internal mantra of a million realms and one universe, and this notion that there could be countless realms out there to explore. So to me, this sounds like the realms themselves will be contained on their own servers, but players will be able to freely bounce between them, coming across others along the way. So like maybe I've built up this really cool looking tree fort base in some forest biome, and then through some sort of mechanic, be it a browsing feature or something else, you could take a portal to hop into my forest biome and come see my really cool tree fort. That's just an idea though. Maybe this isn't exactly what they mean. I do have to say though, I'm curious, they're talking about wanting to remove the isolated feel of players having their own experiences on their own servers, disconnected from the rest of the community. Now, what is this going to mean though in terms of things like server caps? Are they going to have phasing? Or, could 20,000 people all take a portal into one realm at the same time? And if they did, would they all see each other? Or would you see like 100 people and there would be 200 instances of that server running simultaneously? However they end up doing this, I do think the game looks cool. Along with Arc Raiders, this was one of my favorite reveals from the Game Awards. I think the look is cool. I think it's got a cool art design, pretty decent graphics for what is a survival crafting game, and it does look like it could be fun. They are still planning to start testing in 2022. In fact, according to their reveal trailer, the game is going to be entering PC early access at some point this year. Bethesda Softworks released a teaser for the next major round of updates coming to Elder Scrolls Online. The minute-long cinematic trailer shows some sweeping shots of a coastal town, some ships on the water, and then ends with a figure wearing what looks to be Breton heavy armor. Combined with some previous reveals, everyone is reasonably sure at this point that ESO will be getting this Breton-themed chapter that is likely to take place in the High Isles. We will know for sure on January 27th, as that is when ESO 2022's global reveal event takes place. This is going to give us a detailed look at the coming chapter and DLC plans for the year. Typically, Usually what ESO does is they'll have a few small DLC updates that add things like dungeons or new gear sets, and then there will be one large chapter update that will add like a whole new landmass and a major story quest line, or even some new features in mechanics. For example, in 2021, they had the Gates of Oblivion update. So that included 3 DLCs, which added dungeons and armor. And then there was the Blackwood chapter that added the whole new region of Blackwood, along with a Daedric themed storyline, a companion system, a new trial, a new world event system, as well as these treasure hunting mini games. I think the expectation is that 2022's update will be similar. They did mention in the cinematic reveal trailer that new DLCs and chapters are going to be part of the reveal this month. So I guess we'll be learning for sure, and specifically what's coming soon enough. Last week, Albion Online recapped some of its major milestones in 2021. So back in March, they released Call to Arms. This introduced new options for small and medium scale PvP to the game. For example, they did a full rework of the faction warfare system. They provided new PvP, PvE, and transportation options. And they also added a new faction, new elite mounts, this bandit assault, and a rework to the Hellgates. And then in June, the game officially launched on mobile along with PC crossplay, and in turn, this brought a massive boost to the player population, having the game peak around 271,000 daily active accounts. In the fall, they released the Lands Awakened update, which they say was the most expansive since launch, touching nearly every aspect of the open world part of the game. Gorgeous new visuals for all of the game's 5 biomes, mobs that will upgrade in power over time. They reworked static dungeons. There's the brand new Warglaive weapon line, changes to guild warfare, along with things like UI and quality of life improvements. Now, looking ahead to 2022, they do say that they are already hard at work at the next content update with some big new features and improvements in the works, and that information will be revealed in the coming weeks in a brand new dev talk. I gotta say, I think it's pretty cool to see this game doing so well. I have dabbled with Albion Online over the years. My biggest hangup has always just been the gameplay. I just don't think it feels that great. Like, I would say if this game had a combat feel like, say, Diablo 3 or Lost Ark, I think that'd be a pretty awesome game. Just like the features and elements and how they do the world and different parts of the PvP, I think are awesome. I just think the gameplay feels rather lackluster. There are things about Albion that I do really enjoy, and you know what? I will probably still revisit it at some point this year. Also, people tell me I have a lot of gold in this game. I guess those referral links from like 7 years ago are doing work. Albion Online isn't the only game that has its future plans laid out. The 2022 roadmap for PSO2 New Genesis has been released, laying out their content update plans for the first few months of the year. So in February, there will be a new urgent quest, a raise to the level cap to 40, as well as new high rank sectors in the Alio region, and a new chapter 2 side story. Then in March, they're going to hold a spring event with new urgent quests. In April, they've got the super challenging quest release, as well as a raise to the level cap, this time to 45, new high rank sectors, and urgent quest in the Retum region. And they're also going to be adding these room setting features for photo shoots. In May, there will be a limited time urgent quest, and then in June, this is when the game gets its second major update, which will include a brand new region, chapter 3 story, a raise to the level cap to 60, and then new class skills. So I'll give him credit. New Genesis does appear to have a fairly solid plan laid out here. Just a few weeks ago, in fact, they released their first major update, which was Sandstorm Requiem, and that added a brand new desert region, new enemies, additional elemental techniques, and this new world trial event system. The game does seem to have a fairly consistent, albeit relatively small player base, judging by the numbers on SteamDB. I do still feel this thing is like a missed opportunity. The top-down sandbox MMO Fractured Online also laid out their plans for 2022. So starting things off, they will be entering a beta, which will be running 24/7, and they only have one server wipe planned before the full release. Now, during that beta testing period, they do have several new features coming to the game. There's going to be a major backend engine update, which they promise will bring dramatic server performance improvements. There will be a second Nordic-inspired continent added into the game, the introduction of the Wild Folk and Demon factions, as well as new world events, seasons, religions, additional languages, and much more for both individual players and guilds to enjoy. So they do plan on sharing a more in-depth look at these various coming features in the next few few weeks and months. I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date with anything new that comes out. I do still think this game looks a little stiff, although that is just kind of how it goes with crowd-funded titles. That said, they did recently announce a new partnership with Gamigo, which means more money towards development, which probably means a better looking and feeling game, along with maybe some more microtransactions in the game. We'll see. I'll keep an eye on things, and again, I'll keep you guys up to date. Do you remember Bless Unleashed, that repackaged and re-released follow-up to Bless Online? Well, the game's developer and publisher NeoWiz has had enough and decided to sell it off to a new company. Beginning on January 26th, they are transferring the game's service over to Velofi, I want to say it's called. From that date onward, NeoWiz said the entire service about the game, such as development and service, will be transferred. Velofi will also make extra efforts and continue to discuss the content update and the future service direction. We deeply apologize for sharing this sudden news. Now, while you may have never heard of Velofi before, they are no stranger to taking on struggling MMOs, having done so already with Atlantica Online, Riders of Icarus, and Continent of the Ninth Seal. It seems like they are more or less in the business of purchasing games that, while not totally dead, are far from thriving, but still earn enough money to make it worth their while to keep these things running. You know, I can't say any of this is even remotely surprising. The Bless IP has had a string of failed launches. So Bless Online first released and failed and then shut down in Korea, and then that happened again in Russia and Japan, and then we had the Western version of the game come to Steam. That failed and then was shut down and removed from Steam, and then they announced and released Bless Unleashed on the consoles. No idea how it's performing there because those numbers just aren't available. Bless Unleashed then came to Steam. It clearly isn't doing well because the company has decided to sell it off. Trust me, if they were making a ton of money, they would keep this thing running themselves. It's just like the whole arc of Bless Online / Bless Unleashed, it's just so crazy. It's also crazy to think it was clearly a last-ditch effort, cash grab attempt of the failure that was Bless Online. Like, there's no question about it. This makes it obvious. It's not making them enough money. They made the initial bulk from the hype around launch, and now that the game is dwindling, they're like, someone else take care of it. I don't know, whatever. In more positive news, the base building survival game, the Riftbreaker, hit a major milestone recently, surpassing 350,000 copies sold across all platforms, and over 500,000 players when you include any of the Game Pass users who checked out the game. This is quite a milestone for the relatively small indie developer Exor Studios, and one that I think is well deserved. You know, I never made a video about this game, but I did play it a bunch when it released last October, and I really enjoyed it. I think Riftbreaker is just a really well put together base building survival game. You've got like this mecha suit and you just are on these alien planets. You go out gathering resources and then you build a base and defenses and resource storage and tech tree upgrade places. And then you have to defend your structures from these periodic enemy attacks. They'll come in waves. There'll be different events like meteor showers and things like that. And in between all of this, you're going out and exploring around the map on these different planet areas and these different biomes in search of rare resources and upgrades and boss fights and things like that. It's also got a fairly in-depth tech tree and crafting system. I think the combat feels really good, and also the game ran really well in my experience. So when discussing their recent milestone, they also laid out some upcoming content plans for the game. World Expansion 1 is what they're calling it, and that is planned for sometime around April. This will include a brand new biome, new creatures, new weapons, skills, upgrades, and more. If you haven't yet, I definitely suggest giving this game a look. There is a free demo available on Steam, so you can just go and try it before you buy it, and I think it's totally worth checking out if you have any interest in this style of game, base building, top-down, survival kind of thing. And hey, you know what? The Steam reviews speak for themselves. Be sure to check it out, but yeah, this is a pretty solid title. Steam's Best of 2021 awards have gone out, and of particular note to me was the top new releases as measured by gross revenue. Now, I'm not really really so much interested or caring of what games made the most money last year, as much as I am in the fact that 3 of these top games are Xbox first-party titles: Halo Infinite, Age of Empires, and Forza 5. Microsoft's decision to make a strong push into PC gaming is clearly paying off, and hopefully this is another motivator for companies like Sony and Nintendo to follow suit. You know, I can't speak for everyone, but for myself, I am just not interested in purchasing a new console. You know, I bought both the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 from last generation, and I think in total I used each of those once or twice. Literally, in nearly 10 years, I used them to play a handful of exclusives, but that's it. In retrospect, as someone who also has a gaming PC, it's just not worth the purchase for me anymore. Now, I get it if you don't have a computer, you know, and also, you know, gaming-focused PC hardware is way more expensive than owning a console. But just, again, speaking for myself, and I guess probably a lot of other people in a similar situation to me, the small number of exclusive titles that come out over a console's lifespan just no longer is tempting enough for me to purchase the console. I will not be buying a PS5. It's just not going to happen because I know like 5 or 10 years from now, I will regret it for how infrequently I used it. Again, I know it's not for everyone, and for many people, consoles make a lot of sense. The purchase is worth it. It's huge value, and it's way more affordable. I'm just saying that my biggest point in this is that for people like me, Sony and Nintendo could still get some money from me if they release their games on PC, because I'm not going to be buying their consoles, you know? But if they don't want to make their games playable on PC hardware, so be it. It's not 1995 anymore. It's not like there's only a few games released a year. There are so many great games releasing all the time. I've got plenty to play, so balls in your court, Sony and Nintendo. The yearly Speedrun Marathon event, Awesome Games Done Quick, kicks off this weekend, running from January 9th to the 16th. The idea is pretty simple. A bunch of speedrunning pros live stream their runs of various games nonstop for an entire week while raising money for charity. I've always found these things a ton of fun, from the high-level speedrun gameplay to the, let's call it, interesting commentary and banter that you get from the live events. And of course, I can't help but appreciate that this is all for a really good cause. Games Done Quick is also what first exposed me and got me really into Dark Souls. Like, I was fully enthralled watching someone speedrun through that game, and I immediately purchased and played through it right after. Like, I will never forget it. It was like a full week of me in my room, curtains drawn, totally struggling to complete this game that I watched some guy breeze through in about an hour. It was amazing, honestly. But yeah, Games Done Quick, I definitely suggest checking it out. There is a full list of all of their scheduled runs, their start and expected completion times right over on the website. You know, this year's event is entirely online, so it won't have quite the same magic and hilarious moments as the in-person events do, but you know, it's probably worth the trade-off considering everything going on right now. We'll get back to normal someday. Amazon has revealed its games with Prime offerings for this January. The list of available titles for free this month include Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Total War Warhammer, World War Z Aftermath, and a handful of indie titles that you guys can check out. So to collect these games, you just need to go over to gaming.amazon.com, log in with your Prime account if you already have one, and then claim any of the available titles you want for free. This will give you a key to add it to your account on whatever platform they're being given out on. So just as an example, if you wanted Jedi Fallen Order, you will claim the key, get a copy of the key, and then register it via Origin, and this gives you a free copy of the game on your Origin account. It is a little bit of legwork, but you know, not too much considering you're getting these games for free. And the nice thing is you will own them for good once they're claimed, even if you cancel Amazon Prime. The list of available games does change every month though, so if you want anything on this month's list, be sure to grab it before it goes away. And then also, January's update for Game Pass was revealed. Some new games coming to the service include Mass Effect's Legendary Edition, Outer Wilds, Spelunky 2, the Anacrusis, and Ember. PC Game Pass remains just a fantastic deal. As of now, you can still join for a single $1 and get access to tons of games at no additional cost. Now, do keep in mind that dollar offering is only for the first month. It's $9.99 in every subsequent month. So if you're unsure, the best bet is just sign up and then cancel it immediately so you don't forget. You'll get a full month and won't have to worry about any recurring charge. You could always sign back up later on if you felt like it. This is what I do with any automated subscription stuff. I'll sign up and then immediately cancel it. And then you just get it for the month that you've already paid for. It's works $1. $1 for Game Pass. I mean, you should take advantage of it at one point if there are games on there that you want to play. PC gaming continues to grow as Steam recently reached a brand new height of 28 million concurrent users. Although it is worth noting that this number is of accounts logged into Steam, not accounts actively playing a game. That number hovers more around the 8 million mark. Either way, the platform is getting larger. Despite making up the smallest percentage of the global games market, in terms of revenue, PC gaming is still eclipsed by both console and mobile by quite a lot. Although to be fair, mobile gaming does have the advantage of being riddled with microtransactions to a degree much worse than even the worst cash shop loot box and season pass infected PC games. Although who knows, maybe with the recent push into NFTs in gaming, PC can make up that gap. Speaking of which, this past week included more NFT and blockchain related news. Square Enix's president had the super awesome take that gamers who just play for fun will just have to get used to NFTs and all the people joining that are playing to earn. Also, Twitch's co-founder launched a gaming-centric NFT marketplace, and there's been rumors that Hi-Rez Studios has a blockchain-based game using the Smite IP currently in the works. You know, I have no clue where the current NFT gold rush will end up and where it will land 5 years from now. One thing is clear though, we will continue to hear more of these sorts of stories in the coming months and years. It kind of feels like the loot box situation all over again, simply in that these game companies have found a brand new way to make more money, so more and more developers will start adding NFT transactions into their existing and upcoming games. We got a couple of brand new game reveals and some newly playable titles I want you to know about. First up is Spacebourne 2. This was just revealed as an action RPG-based open-world single-player space shooter with an additional third-person shooter game with what they say are dozens of features like role-playing, mining, trading, piracy, crafting, and deep exploration. The Ranchers was a newly revealed game. It's an open-world country life sim for 1 to 4 players. You can raise animals, grow crops, craft machines, build your dream farm, and then go out into the world and explore this open landscape with mines and dangerous monsters. There's monsters in this game? That's crazy. And then also I wanted to tell you about Past Fate. This is an open world MMORPG focused on player freedom. They say you'll get to explore a huge world and its continents and islands. You can sail the treacherous seas, find secrets, treasures, and mysteries to aid in your journey. You can have different gameplay focuses, like if you want to become a crusader to smite your opponents or sneak through the darkness in the night. I don't know. This is a little janky looking, but hey, it's a new reveal. I wanted to tell you about it. As for games that you can play right now, Robin Hood Sherwood Builders. This was a game revealed about a year ago. It's an action-adventure RPG with city-building elements. They just released a new demo for Steam, so go check that out. And then also Super People. This is like PUBG, but with a sci-fi twist. You've got like special powers, ultimates kind of. It's had its beta test extended indefinitely. It was supposed to end today, but they're gonna keep it going for the foreseeable future. If you're interested in this game, you can request access via Steam. And with that, we wrap up today's video. Thank you guys, as always, so much for watching. Hope you enjoy this weekly PC gaming news recap. I am gonna try to make sure that we keep doing this every week. I almost pushed this episode off. There's like a bunch of other videos that I'm working on simultaneously, and I'm like, you know what? I could just do the news next week, but no, it's weekly PC gaming news. So if you don't do it weekly, you have to change the name of the show. It has to be like bi-weekly or bi-monthly. Does that mean twice a month or once every other month? Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy the content. I'll see you in the next one.